All right, recording in progress. Okay, so what do you want to look at? Like the same stuff, or do you
Yeah, yeah. Do the same ones again.
the same ones?
Yeah, or
All right.
start going through like this kind of squat lower body stuff again.
Okay, let me see. Now in order to do that, I have to go to what? Share screen, right?
Yeah,
Share
and then get
screen,
and then gallery mode.
desktop.
I think you wanted.
What's that?
Didn't you want gallery mode so you can see
There's no
everybody's
gallery
face?
mode right now. Let me just see if I can do desktop. Can you see right now?
Yeah, I can see both of us in mine.
All right. Do you see my background though too?
Yeah, I see all the videos.
You see these videos? All right, let me see if I can go to my other videos on iPhoto where we were.
That's a sick background now. Looks like you're right in the old gym.
That's why I changed it. I'm not super pumped with this either, but can you see these now? Can you see
Yeah, I see everything.
all right, so let's go back to videos. Anything in particular you want to look at?
Let's do that one guy's squat again, and then we can like work our way through it.
Who, Antonio?
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, here's a squat. Oh, it's a different angle.
Here we go. On the way up, chest up. Chest up. Good, racket.
Yeah, I'd probably, start measuring that velocity and get it lighter and have him move faster today. I don't know if I'd have him go so heavy and have such grinders because his posture's not great, but it's not horrible. Here's the video we were looking at before. This looks more familiar, right?
Yeah.
Up fast.
It's less weight too, so he's got 135 on. I think he had 155 on last time.
Right. Looks like he's twisting a little bit.
3, racket.
I didn't see the twist. I wish I was further back so I could see what's going on with his knee because he's not sitting back at all. So I don't know. What else you want to look at?
Let's go to like what about one of the deadlift ones?
The deadlift.
Like at the top.
I don't like how he jerked it off the floor like that, but it's a little better. Not quite as jerky. It's because we're measuring velocity again, and really, I'm not sure why we have this on his arm because you can't put it on the bar. Maybe there was a reason for it at the time. This was a while ago, and that's why he's
Do you
pulling
think
it
he's
fast.
do you think he's bracing good enough?
Bracing what?
Like through his like just his core, right? Like he just seems kind of loose, like his
Let's
back
see.
kind of rounded
Well,
a
here
bit.
at first he jerks it with his hands. Watch.
Right,
See how you can hear it? You can hear how the bar hit the plates
right.
because his lats aren't tight. He doesn't know how to get his lats tight yet. And frankly, I mean, he's going into extension at the lower back a little bit at the top. But here I don't really care too much about him looking super good here because we're getting an estimated 1 rep max. So that's why he's pulling it fast. So he gets a faster velocity. And so, he doesn't have great technique yet. I mean, it's just weird looking at these again because we did this already and I didn't record it. So I don't know what to look at again. It went really well the first time, but what should we look at? Can
What
you hear me?
about yeah, I can hear you. What about I'm just trying to look at like just lower body stuff. What
Lower
about
body stuff?
yeah, like the collat test ones? Like
Oh,
the
the clat
bot
test.
see
All right.
like just see a couple of them down there.
This guy probably looks good because he was a trainer and he came to see me. Look, he's got pretty good quad development too. You can tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh?
You don't see that
Yeah, he
too
does look
often.
good.
Yeah, he hopped out.
Backwards.
I'd like to see that again.
Need when you hop outside. All right, keep going. Other leg. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, next your hip rotate.
Yeah, you see how his heel went in? He
Yeah.
rotated his foot. So like what I said there about glute med, that's what I was told. I'm not claiming that that's what it is. And the same thing with his left leg. That's what I was told it was. And maybe it is. I'm not saying it isn't, but I also don't want to sound like I know for sure, because to be honest, I don't. Because every time, you know, there's always new stuff coming out. And you know, like I was saying in the video we made that I didn't film, sometimes when you saw the knee drop in, people would say VMO, right? But now it's like we never discussed the foot. Let's see what this guy looks like. He was from jiu-jitsu, big guy. What's he doing?
Your hands.
Apparently I didn't tell him what to do yet. Sorry, somebody's just trying to call me.
It is. Okay, so interlock your hands, bring your other leg out.
Hold on a minute. Do I have him again? The video, here we go. I messed that video up.
Okay. Yeah, and now what you're gonna do is just jump.
Can you
down
see it?
and Stick the landing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Okay.
Pretty excessive knee bend he had there before he
Right.
jumped down, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And see when he landed, he hopped in. It looked like he hopped in, maybe forward, you know?
Right.
So you're told, you know, that's a duck.
Do you think jujitsu guys have stronger feet than like a regular athlete since they're barefoot a lot?
No, I don't. I don't think they're barefoot enough. What are they, barefoot for like an hour? You
Oh,
know?
really? Yeah, I don't
No.
know. I mean, they just do their activity barefoot. That's what I was kind of.
No, I
wondering.
don't. I haven't seen it. Maybe at like a really high level, if you get like a really good jujitsu guy that's like really dominant in like, you know, high level jujitsu tournaments, because of all, you know, because of all the other training he's doing, or maybe because he knows stuff like low level guys don't know. But I've never personally seen it. No. Let's see. What else do you want to look at? You said lower body stuff, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this guy. This was a karate athlete, high level too. Now he's got the thing on his body because you can't put it on this bar because it's not a straight bar. Really stupid,
Right.
but he looks pretty good. He's jerking it a tad, not as bad as Antonio, because you can hear the bar clank a little bit against the plate. And again, that's just because his lats aren't really tight and he's not pulling the bar into the plates before he lifts. But again, I don't care, because the reason why he's doing 3 reps and the reason why this is on him is we're trying to get an estimated 1 rep max so I can use percentages or whatnot for that particular lift. So we looked at this one earlier. This might be worth looking at again. So this is Antonio again, the guy that we watched squat. And like I said in the first time we were doing this, when we do bilateral training, at least what I used to do, I used to use this pendulum squat a lot, and I really miss this. I don't have this now. And he's doing that Romanian rhythm squat. So he's just trying to get the last 15 degrees of knee extension there, with no heel elevation. And then he gets the next 10 going up on the balls of his feet to hit his calves. And we go 10 back to not lifting the heels. And I think we did like 50 reps, 10 with none, 10 with a lift, 10 with none, 10 with a lift. And again, I got this band on here to help decelerate at end range, so somebody didn't feel like they were going to hyperextend their knee. It didn't completely deload. If you went deep, if I have a video of somebody going deep, there's not really tension at the bottom, and I've been criticized for that before, but I'm not trying to necessarily change and have tension everywhere. I just wanted it to decelerate at the end range, basically.
Right. And it's kind of like
That
an
ma-
overspeed. It's kind of like an overspeed eccentric too, right? With the rhythm squats, with the band, like with 'cause
maybe
that
a
tension-
little.
That tension would probably be pretty good.
It was decent. I don't think it was a ton. Plus, it's the tensions like in a where you're kind of in your most advantageous position. So I don't feel like it was much of it didn't really change the eccentrics a whole lot. I wouldn't really consider it that. What I like for that, if I had any videos of my K box, let's see if I have any videos of that. I have a whole bunch of Juliana here. Let's see. Doesn't look like it. Oh, this guy was really good. This was a high school baseball player, and this kid was pretty athletic. He, compared to other kids his age, he did this incredibly well. Some people did it to the point where I didn't even, they were doing bilateral exercises on this, not unilateral. This kid, he was a baseball pitcher. He did it really well. And so I did a lot of split squats with him with that.
And what do you like most about K boxes compared to just regular split squats?
Well, I like the fact that, well, depending on what split squat you're talking about, okay, like, so what I like about the K box is you don't have to load the spine like a barbell back squat. So you're not getting the compressive forces on your spine. But when the faster you come up on this, the faster the flywheel spins and pulls you down. So that's why they call this company, they call it, it's called eccentric or eccentrics.com, but they're spelling it instead of the eccentric with 2 C's, it's with 2 X's, because this actually does pull you back down a lot. It's way different than just a gravity based load, you know?
Right.
Here's RJ curling with it. Let's see. I don't know. It's probably hard to tell from videos how much it pulls down on you, but it does. So the harder you pull up, the harder it pulls down. I don't know if I have any other good videos. It'd be nice if I had a video where it looked like somebody was going to get pulled through the little hole in the bottom, because I've seen that happen, because it'll do that to you. This was fun. I don't know if you want to check this out, but the Run Rocket. We're doing a lot of loaded sprints with this. I change this up a lot and just do different resistance, high, medium, low. And it's one of my favorite things to do for athletes. Of course, I wish I had the 1080 sprint, but that's like $20,000.
Right.
So this thing is pretty awesome. We would do this a lot of times with performance circuits. That's what Cal Dietz calls it. It's kind of like a French contrast circuit, but with more exercises.
How much resistance can it go up to on the Run Rocket?
It registers in numbers, so it says 30. It's
Okay.
a lot, but it's hard to say. Here's something we do with it a lot, but he's doing like almost like a backwards run, which I'm fine with, but we do backwards walks with this a lot, and this works the VMO way more than backwards sled drag, because look at where your resistance is. It's in line with where you're going instead of going straight down like a sled, because it's gravity. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Totally.
So this thing works way more. I know I'm jumping around a little. If there's any exercises or things you want to see specific, let me know. What's this guy doing? Is this the same person? Yeah, it's the same person. This was a soccer player.
Go ahead, yeah.
He was young here, like 15. It's a little awkward when he runs. I'd like to see somebody like, if I only had this other soccer player, a video of him. Oh, here he is. He was a little better. This was the first year I had him. He's way better now. I just think that looks better athletically. The other kid's arm swing didn't really match his legs that much. It was a little bit awkward. I don't know if you caught that. But this looks a little bit like better running mechanics. It looks more natural. Probably a little bit of a more natural athlete. And he's way bigger than this now. This was his sophomore year. So I don't think I have any with him this year. Maybe I do. Here's him again in his sophomore year. He was only 15. He's real smart. So I think he was a year ahead. So we do a lot of work on the AstroTurf with everybody. So obviously he's doing a forward sled drag, but I have a lot of people do sled pushes on this. You can get in a lot of work and not worry about too much damage because there's no eccentric load. So you're not getting that a lot of local inflammation from muscle damage, you know. So you can do a lot of work with somebody and their nervous system. It's not a problem on their nervous system. What else we want to look at here?
Let's see.
Here's, we were doing quite a few of these, but this was, somewhat hard for him. He made that look pretty easy. In the very beginning, he would hit the top of it a lot. Now he can get to it somewhat easy. But it wasn't the case in the beginning. But what's awesome about my boxes is if you miss it, you're not going to nail your shin and hurt yourself. And so you get some of these kids, maybe they find it challenging to do this. And so even if they don't make it, sometimes they want to do it because of the challenge. And I have no problem with letting them since there's no risk. But in the very beginning, that was really hard for him. And now it's pretty easy for him. And then we did some low level plyos where the amortization phase is real. He's not on the ground very long. So it's really good for, supposedly, I think I heard Randy Huntington say, I might be wrong, but if you have an athlete doing plyos where they're really high and they're on the ground too long, it can be problematic because the amortization phase is so long. So what I would like to do with people a lot is I would do a low level one like this, and then sometimes a high level one, and not necessarily alternating, sometimes alternating, but not necessarily. Sometimes I'd base it off of, if they felt good that day, you know, we do stuff that's harder on the nervous system. If they felt bad, I'd have them do maybe the Hooper McKinnon questionnaire, and that would dictate that sometimes. Probably more often than not, it was alternating. Here's another one that I was doing that I like a lot. You know, he's got 10-pound ankle weights on. So it's a lot harder than if he didn't. But we're at a point now where I could probably buy another one of these small add-ons and have some people jump higher. It's freezing up.
Do you also use weight vests, or you just go ankle weights?
I don't have a weight vest right now.
Okay.
Why is this freezing up? This is ridiculous. For some reason I can't.
You can still see your screen.
Yeah, I know, but I can't click off of that for some reason. Let me try to quit it and come back. All right, let's see. Let me try to pull it back up. Can you see it now?
I can see the guy about to jump in the blue shirt, whatever his name is.
Is it changed?
I can see you scrolling right now.
All right. Hey, here's a fun one that we were messing around with. So I bought this sand dune and I think I saw a couple people say good things about it. Joe DeFranco was one of them. So I decided, you know what, I'll get it. It wasn't super expensive. And what I was doing with it at the time, I wasn't really super impressed. But then I messed around with it with this. I thought of this for like the foot ankle complex. So what we're doing on this is, can you see?
Yep.
So we're in our bare feet. I mean, no shoes on, socks can be on. And we're just jumping on this for a time. And it works the hell out of your calf and the connective tissue through your ankle. And you get some really awkward jumps. So every jump's kind of different. And I kind of dig that. And you know what? People like love and hate this thing at the same time because it looks kind of maybe stupid and but it really is brutally hard, you know. Oh, here's something fun we were doing. So whenever this kid would deadlift, I'd always see his knees drop in. So I was thinking, okay, maybe he has weak adductors. So we did different things for the adductors, but then what I really like about the K pulley for the adductors is you can look at the discrepancy between strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was kind of cool. It's an
And
example.
and that app is pulling up what force he's pulling with.
What's that?
That was on the phone. The app.
Yeah, the app's on the phone.
Yeah, and it was telling you the force that he was pulling with.
Right, exactly. So then I can look and see what the discrepancy is between legs, if there is one. And he had a pretty big discrepancy. Which I'm not surprised because, you know, when you're a soccer player, a lot of times you're going to have a dominant leg. Here's I know this isn't lower body, but here's something I was doing with this guy. You know, it's funny because sometimes, you know, you get these people, they're sagittal plane beasts, right? Because a lot of stuff everybody does is sagittal plane. And so when it comes to rotational exercises, I'm not super happy about how many that I have in my arsenal. It's for me, I've had a hard time finding a lot that I really like. I like this one. And this guy's a golfer, but he's also he's really athletic, man. Like he's real strong. So he still wants to do stuff for that, you know, has nothing to do with golf at all. Is my computer locking up again? I wonder why. It keeps locking up. Trying to get back to the video thing. This is ridiculous. It's totally locked up again, you know?
The iMovie is?
Yeah. I can't get back to videos. This is frustrating. Maybe they try to make it suck, so you have to upgrade. What do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't think that your iMovie has anything to do with Zoom. I wouldn't
Oh,
think.
this is an iMovie. This is
or whatever this app. I wouldn't think it has anything to do with Zoom specifically.
No, you don't think? What else do you want to see? You want to see anything else?
What about that hip thrust?
Oh,
that
the
girl's
hip
doing in the
thrust.
corner.
Let's see. Oh, right here.
Yeah. Or what are you looking at when someone's doing hip thrust? Is there anything specific you're looking at?
I look to make sure that they finish hip extension at the top and fully shorten the glutes, because this is exercise is really good in the fully shortened position. So you got to make sure that they can fully shorten the glutes and finish hip extension with the glutes and not with the low back. She's doing a really good job. She's pretty good at it. It'd be nice if I could show you an example. I've had some people who like the bar better than the band because they're better at fully shortening the glutes with the bar. And then some people like it better with the band. It'd be nice if I had an example with the bar, or a bad example, somebody who can't finish with the glutes fully finish hip extension. And either I look at, first thing I always do is lighten the loads, because I always think it's too heavy, or if maybe they have really tight hip flexors or something like that. That's another thing that crosses my mind.
What about that split squat? That front foot elevated one in the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the tank top.
This is kind of a complex exercise, because you have to tell people how far your feet are apart is going to be relevant, because you want a huge hip flexor stretch on that back leg, but not so much where it's going to hinder you being able to smash your hamstring into your calf in the bottom position.
Right.
You know what I mean? To fully stretch your quad and get your knee as far past your toe. And he's doing pretty good, man. But when you see people do these, sometimes, since you can't feel what they feel, you really don't know, could he get his leg back farther and get a bigger hip flexor stretch and still look like that? And then could he keep his knee straighter? And I think over time, they get better, and they get to know that as well. So, because it's not always easy. So I'll run through that with people sometime. And sometimes it'll mess up the range of motion on the front leg. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Are you overly concerned about, like, when people do the split squat or the front foot elevated, that the heel comes up, or you're not really that concerned with it?
Well, in the beginning, I try not to have it come up if if I really wanted to work on ankle mobility, but to be honest, no, I'm not anymore. Used to be I used to be concerned with that. But after, listening to a lot of stuff by Cal Dietz, most sports take place and your heel's not on the ground. You're on the balls of your feet. So, I don't really care. I like both. And my number one concern with something like that is just making sure they don't have knee pain and they get a big range of motion. And, I don't really have a bias towards if their knee or if their heel has to stay flat or not. I like both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But as of now, I'm not sure if like there should be, if one would be better. And I'm not sure if like I should have some, good order in which I do it. I don't have an answer for that, but, I mean, it's hard to argue with what Cal Dietz says about he doesn't do anything with the heel on the ground anymore. You know what I mean? And the guy's one of my favorite strength coaches. So, anything else you want to look at?
And it's just nice for them, even if someone's like, even with myself, like even if my heel comes off the ground, it's nice just sitting that full like knee flexion. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I care about.
That's just hard to do if you try to keep your heel on the ground. It's like, all right, I can't really go much farther than this.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an athlete who's had if you rolled your ankle a lot, if you have some scar tissue built up just from playing sports for a long time, like your ankles are just not going to be that flexible. So for me, especially if I'm going on the like lighter side, it's like I'm not overly concerned about my heel on the ground. It's like I just want to like really get a full knee flexion.
Yo, let me see if I can find for you this. You might find this interesting. Here we go. Check this out. So I was trying to do these over speed eccentrics. And they're not great. They've gotten better. I don't know if this is one of the better ones or one of the worst ones, but let's see. Yeah, he's coming up. I mean, he's getting pretty high.
Yeah.
We got to a point. See, every once in a while, you'll get a bad one because you'll land funny. And I don't know. There's really not, I don't think, a whole lot you can do about that. I mean, but just practice and hope to get better over time. So a lot of times in season, what I'll have these guys do is, you can see this. We do a vertical jump test, counter movement jump, arms fixed. Oh, he's doing something else. Oh, see, he used his arms. Let me see what I say.
Which one? So you're up. So that's what's going to happen when you do good potentiation. Your jumps will go up for a bit, and then what will happen is they'll come back down from fatigue. So we do them 4 to 6. I had a guy come in here yesterday from strength coach from college. I think he said Virginia, and they call it potentiation clusters. Cal Dietz calls them like performance cycles.
I don't think this kid's that interested. I would tell these kids so much sometimes because I always think like if they know why we do what we do, like it's going to help. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it's like, I don't think it's funny because what'll happen is you'll get these kids sometimes 15, 16 years old. And then they'll come back like and talk to you like when they're 23 or 24, and they'll tell you things like, stuff you did with them that made a big difference, but they didn't realize it until years later. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally.
And I find that that's happened to me many times, and I find that so interesting. Usually we do those a counter movement jump arms fixed. So I don't know if I have a video of that, but I don't know if at one point I would have told him or not. I know many times I have, so I don't know if I have it on video. Let's see he had a really good, this is something else. He's doing an RDL.
Doesn't count. After you get it going. Big hamstring stretch.
So not bad. He should try to decelerate that a little bit better before it hits. And I know at some point I did tell him this and he did get better, but he looks pretty decent because some of these exercises on the K box take a while to get down, man. Here's us trying to do a prime time.
Reach, but not so much to where it's gonna affect your form.
Let's see this one.
Straight knee reach.
This was under some tension, so it's hard. It's not a ton of tension, but it's really hard. All right. Do you hear how I said it's really good for the hamstrings?
Yeah.
You know, I just learned after when I did this, you're not really supposed to feel this in your hamstrings. It's you will, if your glutes, the sequencing of your glutes isn't good, where you're supposed to have like a glute fire, then that same hamstring, and then the opposite QL. So if you can't have the sequencing like that, a lot of times you're going to feel stuff like this, your hamstrings, or maybe even in your low back. And that's not a good thing. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Is
So
it where his foot hits? Is that where it's throwing it off? Like his foot's hitting a little out in front of him?
well, honestly, I don't know, because this is something I just tried experimenting with. We, in the beginning, we would do these with no load. We wouldn't use the run rocket and do a load at all. So I'm sure that would change perhaps where your foot's striking the ground, because with this load, it's pulling back on you. That might be an issue. I just think most people sequencing is off. I think that, you know, they used to always say, you know, like your glutes didn't fire. That was an old NASM thing, you know, and then you had like, you know, a synergist, they called it synergistic dominance would take over because you had reciprocal inhibition to your glutes. So then a synergist would do the job of the glute. And I don't think anybody's talking like that too much anymore. I think more it's like, of course your glutes fire, or you're not a paraplegic, you know, it's the sequencing, you know, and so that's what I like, about what I've learned from Cal Dietz and how things have changed. I don't know what NASM teaches anymore. Maybe they still talk like that. I'm not so sure, but that's what they used to say. I took an NASM certification in 2003, I think, and that was the thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Synergistic dominance and all that stuff.